Show. Turn up your mind.
All white people, for example, they think are racist. All black people they think are victims. All women are powerless.
What?
They don't see us as individuals. That's why I appreciate what Elon Musk has done so much. He's taken a very courageous stand for the First Amendment.
What?
The man, they're beating on him like he stole Christmas. But he's tough. He's tough as a pine knot. And the man's got guts. He's got oranges the size of beach balls.
What?
And thanks to Elon Musk. Thanks to Elon Musk.
You're right.
We're going to have to get some new conspiracy theories because the old ones turned out all to be true.
What? All white people think this, all black people are that. I mean, this foghorn leghorn bit that this, Louisiana Senator John Kennedy has going on has got to come to an end. And, just like Chanel was saying, like, how long do they get away with this racist, ugly crap? How long? Well, the answer is pretty simple. As soon as the cult members, as soon as the haters out in the audience get tired of Donald Trump's games or get tired of Elon Musk, running Twitter like his own little fiefdom. And if you disagree with Elon or if you, say anything negative about Twitter, then, you lose your entire account. As soon as people get hip to the fact that he's doing this to people and people walk away, that's when the crazy ends. That's when the crazy ends. The only reason why there's so much hatred is because it works with a certain segment of America. And as soon as that certain segment of America becomes so minuscule, so tiny, so unimportant, so insignificant to the election of guys like this, then they stop doing it. They only do it because it works, Chanel. That's the sad, disgusting underbelly of hatred in this country. The only reason why you have Marjorie Taylor Greene and Getz and Senator John Kennedy over there and Ron Johnson and all doing these hateful, ugly things is because it gets them elected. It gets them reelected. And when it doesn't, they will stop. When people reject this kind of hatred, when people reject this kind of talk, and it becomes unacceptable anymore and it becomes, a turnoff. I'm not saying ban. I'm just saying when it becomes a turnoff, when it stops to produce the result that they are counting on this kind of, stirring of the pot to produce, they will stop stirring the pot. It's just really that straightforward and simple. And so at some point, it has to become about us. It has to become, what are we going to do to influence, the idea that people have that anything that Donald Trump stood for or anything that Donald Trump is doing or anything that the Republican Party is doing or stands for is, good for you. If you can convince people that what they're doing is dismantling every principle of freedom, that they're taking away rights gleefully in full view of everyone, and that they don't support independent thought, that they don't support anything but groupthink, anything but group hate, anything but stirring the pot. They don't have any solutions for any of our problems. As a matter of fact, I was talking about this immigration reform thing, this issue. Okay, and the right wing has always got their panties in a bunch about immigration, right? It's like a very high performer when it comes to stirring hatred, right? It's that stir the pot of hatred. Immigration. Well, it looked like Tom Tillis of North Carolina and, believe it or not, Sinema from Arizona were partnering together to do a bipartisan immigration reform bill. The damn thing was written. We haven't had immigration reform, for those of you who hate the system that we have now. We haven't done any immigration reform in this here country since 1996. That's because Republicans love this issue as a pot stirrer, right? And so you had a bipartisan agreement that was being negotiated. It was written. It was all laid out. It was done. And Sinema and Tillis wanted to attach it to the omnibus spending bill. And this would have actually made immigration manageable in this country because it would have created new asylum centers new judges. I was telling you about this. I've been telling you about this, but yesterday we actually explained to you what was in this particular piece of legislation, right? It was in exchange for 2 million kids who were brought here as children, who have lived here for, 20 years, who have studied here, who don't know anything about their former country. Okay, they are American for all intent and purposes. They never got in trouble with the law in any way because they would have lost their status as DACA, right, as dreamers. So these are law-abiding, decent kids who, through no fault of their own, were brought here as children. There's 2 million Americans like that. And so in exchange for not citizenship, oh no, oh hell no, because that would be too direct a path, right? They would create a path for them to now get on that could one day lead to citizenship, right? That's all it was. But then we would give everything that the Republicans wanted. We would create new processing centers that would detain incoming asylum seekers. We would find money to increase their legal and health services while they were being detained if they qualified to seek asylum, if they had a, quote, credible fear of persecution if they were returned to their home country. That's what determines whether or not you're eligible to seek asylum. And those who passed that test would then get a final hearing, and that hearing would be expedited, meaning on a much faster track, because now it could take decades. Do you know that? And because it could take decades to get an asylum determination, people actually flee and go into the interior of the country, avoid police, avoid working. They can't work, right? They live under the radar while they're waiting decades sometimes to have their asylum status determined by a judge.